Let's bring back our panel, Associate Research Scholar at Princeton University, Dr. Lauren Wright, and TV personality and journalist Baker Machado. Baker, you were alongside with me. We're listening to Marianne Wilson. What do you think is the end game for a candidate like Williamson?
It's really hot now to basically now rerun when you've basically uncommitted for going. We saw that with a bunch of members of Congress as well who had suspended their campaigns and decided they wanted to run all over again. I think she's right. I don't think she's a spoiler for Joe Biden, especially given the fact that she's running in the Democratic primary. But I think Jill Stein and Cornel West and Robert Kennedy are going to be the spoilers at the end of the day. We forget 46,000 votes in 5 different states are the reason why Donald Trump is not in the office right now for a second term. Jill Stein, as you correctly mentioned, she got 100,000 votes in Wisconsin and cost Hillary Clinton the election. So every vote at the end of the day matters here. But the big question for somebody like Robert Kennedy, does he attract more Biden supporters or does he attract more Trump supporters out there? There's a reason why Robert Kennedy has a high approval rating amongst Republicans more than Democrats.
Let's talk about Super Tuesday, Lauren. Do you think this is the start for the November election?
Yes, and I do think this will be Trump locking up the nomination here. The majority of these states are winner take all. That's a little bit different than the delegate arrangement we've seen so far. And so it's probably the moment at which it's beyond the point of no return. But, you know, just to address the interview you just did, and those are great, tough questions, by the way.
Thank you.
You know, people like to criticize Biden. I am not hesitant to do it. I do it all the time. But every single one of these alternative candidates, he already beat in 2020, including Marianne Williamson. He beat Kamala Harris. You know, she dropped out in 2019. And so people forget he is the only candidate that's actually proven he can beat Trump. And, you know, Super Tuesday will probably just get us closer to Trump-Biden.
I mean, what I think is more interesting is Marianne Williamson did better than Dean Phillips did. And Dean Phillips had basically sort of been the Biden alternative for a long time.
People know who she is.
Exactly.
And she's a celebrity-type candidate.
And as she mentioned, she had basically stopped her campaign and still got better than Dean Phillips did. Exactly. The big problem, though, for Biden will be that uncommitted area, especially in a place like Michigan, where we know there's a very heavy population of Arab American voters that are out there who are not happy about his policies, what's happening in the Middle East. But those are still potentially soft Biden voters. He could potentially still be able to get them. But if the Biden administration shows them that he's going to change what's happening in the Middle East, those voters might go to Jill Stein, Cornel West, or somebody else, which could cost him in a place like Michigan that's very important.
I do want to take a look at the GOP delegate count. 874 up for grabs. It's Super Tuesday. Nikki Haley have a chance here, Lauren?
I don't know. I mean, people say Vermont, Massachusetts, California, but I'm from California. Let me use it as an example.
Sure.
We have more Trump voters in California than any state in the country. And 169 delegates up for grabs. Whoever gets more than 50% gets them all. And so people forget, even in these states that we think are moderate, you know, the Republicans are still mostly Trump supporters, and that's true even like in a liberal-leaning state like California. We just had this Newsom recall. I was talking to Baker a little bit about it earlier, and the top alternative to Newsom was not a moderate candidate like Kevin Faulconer. It was Larry Elder, who's an extremely conservative person with some really alienating views. So even in these states where people think Nikki Haley has a chance, it's probably going to be
Trump. Even look at
Trump.
Super Tuesday coming up. The states she's campaigning in, Massachusetts, Vermont, Maine, you would think places that traditionally have moderate Republican voters out there who have elected moderate Republican governors, she's still not likely going to win even those states.
But can I bring up Senators Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins? They have actually endorsed her. What does that say?
It shows that she's still obviously the anti-Trump wing of the Republican Party. There are Lisa Murkowski's and the Susan Collins who are never going to vote for Donald Trump have an option. Mitt Romney obviously would go for somebody like Nikki Haley as well. The problem for her is, yes, she's still bringing in tons of money. Her super PAC is bringing in over $12 million. She actually outraised Trump. But what at the end of the day, if you don't win one of these states, is going to be the end game here.
Is there a reason for her to stay in the race after Super Tuesday?
I think her future political aspirations are a big reason, and she will have some delegates going into the convention. She will have some ideological narrative sway over the Republican Party. She's an important voice, even if she's not the nominee.
Lauren Baker, I love these conversations. Don't go too far, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, of course.